Hello, everyone, and welcome to a gold mine of information. And today we have an awesome choice board with a ton of different activities. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the link for the YouTube form or the Google form into the chat, and then we can begin to start voting. And just a reminder, you can vote as many times as you like, and just keep on voting for the session throughout so that we can keep going through different choices. And there are 12 different choices. So with today, we have station rotation, check-ins, convince me that, soundboard, vocabulary throwdown, master slide, historical cell phone, the Great American Race, email templates, photo bingo, make a copy, and this or that. So many different choices. Just a reminder, the Google form is in the YouTube chat, so feel free to start voting, and we will check to see which of our options is winning. And it looks, we're 50-50, so we've got option 5 and option 9 right now that are both tied. Let's see if we can break the tie real quick between those two. And I know whenever I say this, it becomes like a three-way tie, which is never fun. If you're just joining us, the Google form to vote is in the chat. Go ahead and vote for which option you would like to see during this quick session. This quick session is 15 minutes long, and we'll get through as many choices as we can. Okay, we're still tied. Let's go ahead and go to option 5 first. So option 5, we have vocabulary throwdown. And just a reminder, all of these session resources will be added to a Wakelet after the session, but I'm going to go ahead and throw the link into the chat. And right here is the template. This template was created by Amanda Sandoval. And then it was also kind of created by Coach Stevens, who created the strategy. What your students do is they're on two separate teams. They have the word that they have right here in the middle, and then they have to write the definition on both sides. So again, they're kind of competing against each other. They have to write that definition of the word. And then once they have that vocabulary word written down, they then are timed, and they have to do this challenge. So with the challenge, there's a GIF example, there's image example. They have to come up with a meme, historical, modern example, and use in a sentence. Both teams are doing this, and they have to provide one example per the category. And again, it's timed, so you're trying to make this a really fun game, and students are working on it as a team to come up with these different images, their different GIFs, the different examples that they can about the different vocabulary words. Once they have the vocabulary words, they then have to come up with 3 connecting terms. So they're thinking about those 3 words, and then after they're finished, they are going to present it to the class, and then you might have like another group or 2 other groups vote for who has the best vocabulary word throwdown and who won the throwdown. So again, just a really fun activity for you and your students to kind of do. And here is just an individual example if you don't want to do it by teams. So maybe you want your students to do it individually. You have the word here. They put their name, they put the definition, the GIF example, the image example, the meme example, the historical example, the modern example, and then they use it in a sentence. And then again, those 3 connecting terms. So pretty fun activity for your students to do. And there's that group template. And then there's also the individual template. Let's go ahead and go back to our Google form, and we're at a 3-way tie right now. I'm going to grab the link again and throw it into the chat for anyone that's joining us. And we're looking for our next option. We have 10 and 9 that are tied. I'm going to go ahead and go with 9 because that was the first winner before it was tied. And right here we have email templates. So what one of my teachers kind of decided was she was having issues with students emailing her. And emails were very broad. They weren't helpful. The students would just say like, I need help. They would write everything in the subject. I don't know if anybody else has students like this, But what she did is she had her students kind of create a template. And so there is a video right here that kind of explains.
So the first thing you want to do is
setting up a template and walking kids through how to set up a template. So going into settings and then going into see all settings. And then once they're in settings, they can go to advanced and they have to enable templates. Once the templates is enabled, they're able to start to create templates. And this helped solve issues more quickly and more efficiently with our students. And so right here, we have a checklist just to help students to make sure that they're able to repeat all of those steps in order to help them better communicate with their teachers. So if they had a question, they had to fill out a template and then they just filled in the red with their information. So for example, they had to include their name, the class name, and the class subject in this email subject. This allowed the teachers to know, okay, this student is in class 7, this student is in this group, I need to focus on this. So for example, Stephanie Howell, ELA period 3, late work. That's what my subject is about. Then in the message, the students would copy this and add it to their template. So they would also add this as the name of the template, and they would just kind of leave period 3 blank and late work blank because they would have to fill that out for every email that they send using this template. Then they're going to copy and paste the email. And I love this because it says, hello, I'm writing because what is your question or reason for the email? And then the students would just delete these dots and all of these prompts to help them answer the question of why they're sending an email. And it says, like, were you specific about your answer response in your email? Like, what are you looking for? Does the teacher understand what you're looking for? And then it says, like, I've already tried. What problem solving steps have you tried? And again, this was when we were hybrid and students were at home. And so if they had an issue, it kind of helped to know what problem solving steps they took. So we didn't have to say, okay, restart your device. Like, we could start a couple steps ahead if they already did those different things. So some of them might be like, did you provide a screenshot or a video or the error message that you're seeing? This helped us out a lot as well, so we could clearly understand what the students were trying to communicate. And then we had them write a conclusion. So they did thank you, and then they signed their name at the bottom of the email and let us know kind of where they were at. And again, this was super helpful for solving different problems and teaching students how to communicate effectively. Right here is an applied digital skills lesson that is provided from Google. And so you can send professional emails and students can take this course to learn how to do so, which can be really helpful for them to do and figure out. And then let's go back to our Google form, and we've got option 10 right now. And we can throw this form back into the chat because I think we'll have another chance to go ahead and get through one more, possibly. And let's go ahead and check out option 10. So right here with option 10, we've got photo bingo. So this is Amanda Sandervolt. She tweeted this on Twitter, and I just love the idea. So what students do is they look at these different images. And they see the different images, and they have to figure out what term would best go with these images. And here's their bingo sheet. And so again, they're looking at these different images, and then they have to figure out what word goes best with that image for bingo. And so right here is the template. We have the students looking at the image, and then once they have the image, they're filling out their bingo card to use. So again, just a fun way to get students kind of using bingo in the classroom, and that they're able to kind of look at images and think about what would the definition be, what would the word be, and in getting them to think kind of higher level of some of these different images and vocabulary words. All right, let's see if we can fit one more in. Feel free to keep voting so that we can fill one more round in to gold mine of information. And we've already covered vocabulary throwdown. We've covered photo bingo, and we also covered email templates. So we can fit one more idea in. We just need one person to vote. And I'll throw the link back into there. All right, and we've got it. It looks like it is, God bless thee. Option, oh, let me see again. Option 3. So convince me that. Convince Me That is an edu protocol, and it's a really great edu protocol. And there is a video on Gold's website, YouTube channel that is Convince Me That, and it goes over all of the Convince Me That information. And so right here are circles, boxes, squares. Also down here is different math formulas, and the students have a math problem. They might have an incorrect problem or an correct problem, and they have to tell that this is correct. So 3 plus 5 does equal 8. They can use these different boxes, and they might go 3, and then they might take this box, and then they can explain that that equals 8. And then they can use different reasoning to help explain that the problem does equal 8 because it shows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the students can see the pieces laid out for them, and then when they're explaining to a partner, they can share with their visual the strategy that they use to solve this problem, which can be really helpful for students. And so again, you can kind of use different examples with your students. You could add images, word problems. You could add maybe a science fact, and the kids have to explain like the water cycle or something like that and how it relates to the information that's being provided to them. So it can just be really helpful for students to explain that reasoning out loud or on this Google slide using these visuals to drill down to why and how it's correct. And again, I've also seen like incorrect answers. So like maybe you do, instead of a convince me that, like fix the error. And so then students would have to fix this error. What if I put 7? They can say like, that's wrong. And then they can make the correction to say, this does not equal 7, it equals 8 because, and then they can fill in the gaps to explain why that does or does not work. And then they can really drill down to the math and partner and do a kind of think, pair, share with their partner about why or why not that equation does or does not work. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today on Gold EDU. All of the links will be added to this Wakelet. As soon as the session is over, they'll be added to session 4. And then you can join us next week, same time, and we will be going over session 5. So make sure you're ready to vote and on that choice board, and feel free to use all of these resources. And again, I will put the link for the Wakelet in the chat, but it is also in the YouTube description. Just give me about 15 minutes and it should be all added to session 4. As always, you can find us on goldedu.org, and you can also follow us on Twitter. Feel free to tag us and share how you're using these different strategies with your students in your classroom or with your other teachers. Also, please provide us feedback on this feedback form, and I'm going to throw that link right into the chat, and you will be able to provide us with feedback. So make sure you do fill out that form to get your certification of attendance. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll chat back next week.